Hi, it's Xavier, and we're at my bonsai retreat, and I've got about an hour's patch before it starts chucking it down yet again. Although I have been fairly told that we're going to go into a heat wave in another 7 or 8 days. It's actually going to get as hot as 26 degrees C. I bet some of you out there in America are wishing for that. A few other countries actually, to be honest. But yeah, so going to deal with the olives. You will know that this olive was hacked back along with 2 others really hard. In fact, so hard there was nothing on it. And I know that a few of you thought, shouldn't do that. And in part it was down to watching a lot of Sam's videos, Aussie Bonsai bloke. Prayers and wishes are with you, by the way, Sam, and your family during this time. I took his advice, went in hard and waited. And as you know from an update video sometime a couple of months ago, it proved to be okay, and now we've got some really long growth. And I need to just select a few of these for branches that I think are going to be suitable to grow on in the future. So I'm not going to go heavy, but you know, I've got a big fat branch here which I like, but beneath it I've got a small little weeny one. So we're going to do a little bit of pruning like that, and I hope it won't be too long, just straightforward pruning. I even saved you all the pain of watching me weed. I did all my weeding alone. I like weeding alone. Weeding. I give up, let's go pruning. So just simply giving it a spin. Clearly, I mean, we've got this great big wide base. This, in terms of the roots, is probably, that's quite nice, although we've got this bar here. There could be actually a front somewhere in there. But either way, what we can see is that's the main branch. There's a main branch there. Potentially a sidey there. Lots of little growth here. We've got another good shoot up here. And then this one's quite a big one, but we've also got this big one here. But first of all, let's get rid of the stuff that we clearly are not going to want. Here, right under there, we definitely won't want that one. So we'll get rid of that. Will that make a cutting? Well, I'm going to put it in some soil and find out. No cutting paste, I'll just shove it straight in. Looking there, we've got another bit there. We've got this here, which I don't really want. And if you look at the thickness of the trunk, I can already say that branch isn't that far off the thickness I would want. So I will probably just prune back that. Got a branch behind it. Again, let's just go. We've got 2 junctions here. So let's just go back to those. We've got growth coming directly towards us. In no shape or form will that ever be wanted. So we'll get rid of that. Got some more stuff in there. Get rid of that. And you can see what I'm doing here. Gives us a chance to see actually what we've got. And that doesn't mean I've decided on a final form or shape or anything yet. That we're definitely going to keep. We want, at the moment, we may want this. So let's clear out. Got this one here. Clear that out. I'm not sure about this because I may well get rid of that. So that could be useful. Let's have a look and see what's around this branch here. We've got this big one here. We've got one that's coming out horizontally, which part of me says I'd like, but it's just got to make a decision on that. We've got another small one there. Let's get rid of that. And you notice there's where I did the cuts. I didn't actually get any shoots coming from cut sites or around them, which is what you often get with elms and things. I actually got them just below, little nodules here. So got something under there. Let's cut that. 1, 2. I'm going to let that run. I could quite like that as a back branch, but I want to be able to see it better, so let's just get rid of some of these. Some of these leaves so I can actually see what we're doing branch wise. As I say, I don't know yet about that one. We've got this side branch which would probably wire. So I'm going to leave those. They're the definitely ones I want to keep going. Looking here, now this is a Oh, come off in my hand, Chief. There you go. Well, it obviously wasn't that strong, was it? Under here, we've got quite a few branches, so I'm going to have a little look at those and see which ones we probably want for the future of this tree. So I've got a big branch here, which, bear in mind, that would be that's not even going to be primary, that's going to be secondary, so we can already just cut that one right back. Underneath here, that's downward growing, that's never going to be wanted. It's quite a long, I could see this whole branch going from the design, to be honest, but not right now, so we'll leave it for now. We've got this stubby bit on the end that we don't want. Get rid of that. Under there we've got this branch here coming off this one here, and then we've got this one here which I quite like. I'll keep the under one for now because of the way it's growing out. Thinking about branches and secondary, we can get rid of that now. Okay. If I'm going to keep the one there which goes up, this one is always going to come across here. If you look at the angle, it's always going to come into this. So that's made a decision for me. Get rid of that, we've got this one underneath. This is too long, I know, but we'll leave that for now. It could be that I end up removing that one entirely and looking higher up. I want this one to grow on to thicken more. I'm not entirely sure about this one. That one could go. But we've got a little thing here coming there inside the bend, we won't want that. This one here. This one here and this one up here. Probably, if we've got this coming up there, this will get in the way of that. Tempted to get rid of this whole group up here. There's quite a lot of growth on it, but it's not in keeping, so let's go back. Okay, like all of these, it's preference based. We're definitely looking at a primary structure there and there. There's primary, that's a primary, potentially a secondary there, and this one here. That all decide, that one is there only to help me decide whether or not I keep that. But it's also all about healing these areas here. We want to keep lots of stuff growing. If I remove this, then I lose the opportunity to heal that better and that better. So I can afford to keep that. Okay, well, Dougie's balls are sitting in there. They look very happy in there too. Oh, and I've confirmed I'm going to be going up to Stronze with my daughter Alex. We're going to be going up on the 7th to the 18th of October, and this year there's no cameras going up there, so it will be a definite break. That will be my winter break again. Don't know whether I'll have some preloaded stuff, but anyway, I'm looking forward to that. And on the way back I can replenish on his balls, so I'll get my hands on them, won't I? One thing I was going to talk to you about were suckers. Now on something like this where you've got loads of growth up top, then we don't want any energy at all being wasted on those suckers. So I will remove those, and systematically whenever I see them I'll go around and sort them out. This has got such a lovely wide root base on it. This isn't the pot it's going to end up in, by the way. This is just training, and I want a nice deep pot for now. But this got, as I say, this got repotted last year. If I was going to do a repot, I could be doing it now. Okay, so we've got this next one, and again this was cut right back. Got a little low sucker there, and because I've got lots of growth up there, I definitely don't want that. And you'll see why I keep mentioning things like that in a minute. I need to sort out what sort of growth I've got coming from this, so I'm going to get rid of anything that's getting in my way or going at clearly at the wrong angle straight away. So we'll get rid of that one. Nothing came from that stub in the end, so I'm actually going to remove the stub. So we've got something coming straight up there which I don't like already. So we can see we're opening up there. I suppose at this point I should try and think about where the front's going to be. Do I need to worry about that yet, or am I looking at where my primary structure is? They're related, so we'll have a look. We've got some movement off to the left there. There is a nice wide root base there. probably not so good there. Roots come out here but nothing at the back. There's no roots here at all, although I like potentially how that's going to be. So our front is either there or there. So I'm going to remove growth according to that. So cleared this out a lot more. We can see our junctions and what's coming from them, and I can start making decisions based on this. At the moment, this is where the way I'm looking at the front. The only other option was on this point, which could work well, except the roots are just atrocious. We've got a main one coming out here, we've got this here and this here. I like that, so I might just clean up that stub a little bit better, leave those two. I quite like this one, but we've got another one there, another one there. I've got to try and decide. Well, I think one thing I can decide is that's growing up nicely, but let's just shorten that. So if we're having those two, behind it we've got this here, which has got a number of one. We've got one here, one straight up. We've got a little one here and another one here close in. I know in my head where I'm going with this, so let's get rid of that one. So now we've got these horizontal ones coming out. That could work, by the way, if we go for this. What I can see now here is we've got inside of the bend. So we're going to get rid of that now. Liking that a lot more. So we'll have this coming out this way, potentially something going up this way. This one, the angle it comes out from is substantially different from those two, if you look at them there. Whereas this one is almost underneath this one. So I'm going to get rid of that one. Ultimately, at the end, I still actually want these to grow, so I want to keep foliage on there. We're later in the summer, and yes, we're going to probably get another flush coming out, but you know, I'm happy that this is enough for me to build with. Next year, in the spring, I can still cut back like I did this year. So that's what we'll do for that. Just to give you an idea of that Nebari I'm talking about, there's this great big mat of roots, and they could get sorted when I do some pruning on it in a few years. But there, if that was the front, there's absolutely nothing down there. So at the moment, I'm assuming that would be the root structure I would have from the front. Alright, so we've seen what happens when the pruning goes to plan, and for those of you who saw the update video, you'll know there's one that wasn't quite so impressive as that. And I might have a different approach for that one, so let's have a look. Okay, so this is the next one. Now this one, I knew there was a problem because I was getting loads and loads of suckers, which I've been removing, hoping that we were going to get energy going upwards. It never happened. And I'm not yet giving up on this, but the only growing one was there. There was one that sort of thought about it there, and nothing happened. So this is one of those instances where, first of all, I'm actually going to cut back a little bit more, and that's absolutely dead. That's green still there, so I'm going to cut it back a little bit more. And have a look at this. That's still green in there. And just see if I can get the tree to do something a little bit. See, that's absolutely brown bread in there. Definitely, I think this branch we lost. And if we know we've lost it, let's not bother keeping it. Yeah, absolutely toast. Okay, that's very, very brown there. There's some green, right, there's green lower down, so there is definitely room on this one. Let's just see if there's green in there. That's brown, green there and there, so we may have veins or something that go up here. But what do we do? Well, clearly with this, my aim is for that one to get all the energy this tree has. And to do that, we need to tell it to stop wasting time on these. So, if that hadn't have grown, I'd be keeping these, because part of my idea was thinking, do you know what, maybe I'll form a little olive forest. But I'm not going to do that now. Get rid of those. Say they will be used for cuttings. That's what I want, and I do still want to see if I can get buds there, so I'm going to put some cut paste up there, but get rid of these. Worst case, I'm going to let this grow completely unchecked now, because if I end up losing all that part of the tree, this is going to be the new leader. Okay, so I've got the cut paste on there. There's no point talking about fronts or anything. Hopefully I'm still going to get some shoots coming from here, because it's still putting growth in there, so we're still alright there. And do you know what the worst case, if for whatever reason that doesn't come to fruition, I will still get loads of suckers, and maybe I'll think of a little olive clump forest or something. So that's that one, and that'll just stay a nice hot place, lots of fertilizer, and we'll see what happens. I had two little ones that I absolutely decimated as well. Should we have a little look at those? We had this one, which much easier to see the structure, love it. I'm just going to do some very, very light pruning on that, just so that we don't, you know, there's the thickness of the trunk, so I've got to bear that in mind when I'm looking at taper, and that's all I'll be doing. But we didn't get anything grow from there, so, and we didn't get anything grow from that either, so I'll cut those things like that. I will just cut right back. Okay, so I'll do that one and show it to you when it's done. And then we've got this little stumper, loads of growth on it. I'm just going to sort out the bits that I want, come back to you, show you when it's done. And that's it, just a quick spin. I've removed a couple of central branches. I'm keeping these because although I don't see them being part of the design, we could get a nice branch out here. This one I'm not sure, but it could be that I go lower, but probably we'll keep this one. That one will go. And then this one, not stubbier. Got a few areas where there might be conflictions. Not sure whether this will stay, but I'll keep it going. Two coming from this stub. This one I want to continue to thicken and grow up, and it may be that I end up removing, because in here I've got one here, and one there. This one here may get removed eventually, because they are going to conflict, those two, but I'll leave them for now. Maybe a front's in there at the moment. I think it's a bit early to say, to be honest. Really happy with what I've achieved. I'm really happy that I took the chance and followed the advice of Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Thanks again, Sam. I know there's more important things on your mind right now, but I do appreciate that. I hope everyone else who has got the climate right. If you're not sure about how I've done it, then go back to Aussie Bonsai Bloke's channel, because he is what I reckon the foremost expert on olives. Next to me now, but hard pruning definitely works. I just remember we've got one other oak, and that was the original air layer oak, and we all know what happened to the air layer itself. It got rotted by a sphagnum moss experiment that went horribly wrong. But the stump, which is always nice about air layers, you've always got a second chance to come back, and this is the second chance because we've got a nice space there. I can make myself a really nice broom style olive out of this, and I'm just going to do a little bit of cutting back, clear it up a bit, feed it, and we all know what I feed it with, Dougie's balls, and leave it. And here you go, just a little bit of pruning later. Nothing exceptional or extraordinary where you go, wow, just starting to look at some branches here, see what we can encourage further back. I mean, that's got quite a nice, I don't know, there's quite a nice root spread down there. I'll save you to see that when I actually get around to repot, which, I don't know, I may actually leave this in this for another year and just let it enjoy itself, see how that grows out and just see what happens from it. But anyway, I think I need to say goodbye to you, and as this was an insert, I need to lead you towards me saying goodbye. Or I could just say goodbye. Let me think about it. So, from Xavier, in my bonsai retreat, really appreciate. Hopefully you've got something out of this and you've actually enjoyed it. And do you know what? One of my children might just have a short message for you.
What do we like? What are we subscribing to?
Dad's Bonsai channel.
Don't like, don't subscribe, don't hit the notification button. Notification.
As you can tell, we don't listen to Rod. He can't even speak properly. So
Nah, he's all right, I
like
like it.
subscribe, if you feel like subscribing. If you don't feel like subscribing, have a cup of coffee and then subscribe and leave a comment. Because if you don't leave a comment, Dad gets very lonely. And oh, ding a bell. You got to ding the bell. Ding the bell. Need to say ding-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling.
Just like that. If it doesn't make that sound, you've done it wrong.
If you agree with them, then do all the things they've said. And if you don't, well, you're probably not watching this anyway. So enjoy your bonsaiing, enjoy life, and remember, this is fun. So all the best. God bless. Cheers.